Welcome to Knowledge Nuggets. Let's learn together. The Protestant Reformation, a big change in the church. Hey, history scholars! Today we're jumping back to a time when one brave man sparked a huge change in the Christian church. It's called the Protestant Reformation. This was a movement in the 1500s where people questioned old ways and started new branches of Christianity. It all began in 1517 when a monk named Martin Luther kicked things off. Let's see how. Martin Luther was a German monk and teacher born in 1483. He loved studying the Bible, but was super worried about some things in the Catholic Church. His big concern? The church was selling indulgences, like tickets to forgive sins and get into heaven faster. Luther thought this was wrong because the Bible said, forgiveness comes from faith in God, not buying stuff. He also didn't like how the church had too much power and money, and how some priests weren't following the rules. Motivated by his faith and a desire for real change, Luther decided to speak up. In 1517, Luther wrote the 95 Theses, a list of 95 statements criticizing the church's practices, especially indulgences. He nailed them to the door of a church in Wittenberg, Germany, which was like posting a big debate invitation back then. These theses spread fast across Europe thanks to the printing press and got everyone talking. They argued for reforms like reading the Bible in everyday languages, not just Latin, and focusing on faith over fancy rituals. It was like Luther saying, let's get back to what the Bible really teaches. Luther's ideas made church leaders mad, especially Pope Leo X, the head of the Catholic Church. The Pope needed money from indulgences to build a fancy church in Rome. When Luther wouldn't take back his words, even after debates and warnings, Pope Leo excommunicated him in 1521. What did that mean? Excommunication was like being kicked out of the church. Luther couldn't receive sacraments like communion, was called a heretic, which just means a really bad guy in the church, and could even be arrested or worse. It was a huge deal, but Luther didn't give up. He hid with friends, translated the Bible into German so everyone could read it, and kept spreading his ideas, leading to new Protestant churches. Luther's spark inspired others, like John Calvin. Born in France in 1509, Calvin was a smart lawyer who studied the Bible and got excited about Reformation ideas. He fled France because it was dangerous for reformers there, and settled in Geneva, Switzerland. Calvin joined the Reformation by writing a big book called Institutes of the Christian Religion, explaining beliefs like predestination and the importance of hard work and simple living. His ideas helped organize Protestant churches and spread the Reformation to places like Scotland and America, making it stronger with clear rules and education. The Protestant Reformation changed religion, society, and even governments forever. It encouraged people to think for themselves and read the Bible, shaping the world we know today. What a bold adventure! Before we go, let's do a quick check on learning. Here are 5 questions for you amazing time travelers. Question 1. In what year did Martin Luther start the Protestant Reformation? Martin Luther started the Protestant Reformation in the year 1517. Question 2. Who excommunicated Martin Luther? Pope Leo X. Great job. Question 3. Why was Martin Luther upset with the Catholic Church? The church was selling indulgences and had too much power. Great work. Question 4. What did excommunication mean for Martin Luther? It meant he was no longer a member of the church. Way to go. Here is the last question. Question 5. What did John Calvin write to help the Reformation? John Calvin wrote Institutes of the Christian Religion. Remember that one from the Timeline song? Great job! Share your answers in the comments and tell us what big change you'd make in history. See you on the next adventure.